Okay, so it's Sunday and I'm having another astrological conversation with a dear friend. And today I'm talking to my friend Enid. And Enid and we have been sisters walking on a very beautiful path for a lot of years now. And today she reached out to me with something that's happening in her life, and like we had a conversation about it, and I thought, wow, this is exactly what I'm seeing astrologically right now. So Enid is the person I'm sharing this conversation with today, so thank you so much, Enid. So today and tomorrow there's this energy where we are receiving, like receiving some kind of knowing that feels like it's coming, like it's a really important, like deep knowingness that we're receiving. And in our case, it happened through a conversation. There's For some people it's coming through as dreams. For some people they're going to have an interaction with someone and they're just going to know something, and that something is going to change their relationship with things that are happening in their life. So there's a lot of, I'm being a little bit vague, but basically we've had a relationship that could be laced with anxiety for a lot of our lives. And it's just been like this weird little way that we interact with this part of our life. And when we interact, there's something that feels like, gosh, I'm just anxious about this. Like, I don't know how to be in right relationship with this part of my life. Like, it's a source of it's a source of, like, I put a lot of mental energy into this. It causes me to like think about it when I'm not like actually involved with the situation. Even when I'm away from the situation, I'm like having anxiety about this thing. And this week, well, like I'm expecting it could have started last night in dreams. Today there could be some interactions. Tomorrow there could be like these epiphanies that change fundamentally our core relationship inside with this relationship we have with something outside of us. And so we just had a conversation about a situation in Enid's life, in your life. And what I hope is that you can allow there to be a lot of, like, you're seeing it from a different perspective, like there. And this is another piece that I witnessed in my own life. Sometimes when I look at something and I'm really really close to it, I can like see the like inconsistencies in the details, and I'm just like, god, I have this project I'm working on, and the closer I get to it, the more like I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel right. And it's because I'm like splitting these hairs, I'm like so close to it that I forgot what the function of the thing even was, because, and I'm like so into the details of it that I just can't even come up with a solution. And so what I had to do is I had to completely step away from it and change where I was observing the situation from. So I like was like, okay, it's like going from the between the grout lines of your countertop, it's going that close into the details of a problem. Like, I just have a mildew problem right here, and no matter what I do, no matter what so then stepping out, so now you're just looking at the countertop, like how's the countertop functioning, then you're looking at the kitchen, and then you're looking at the whole house, and then you're like looking at the city and the town of like, oh, wait a minute, okay, hold on, in the grander scheme of things, is the little tiny spot in the grout line actually affecting like the way that I want to live my life? Am I getting so deep in the woods here that I'm forgetting how I even want to, like, the rest of the world? Am I forgetting all the other things, like how beautiful the sunlight feels on my face, and the fact that at any moment I can, walk outside and take a big fresh air, or so I had to step back. I like got this bigger perspective and got to see, like, wow. And that's something I shared with you. I got to share like this perspective of time, and like of wow, like sometimes unless there's actual like danger of the grout line, if it's a real danger that something really really bad could happen from this little tiny detail, then by all means, please attend to it. But if it's not, then it's okay to take a deep breath and step a little bit back and let your observer take a look at the overall landscape to see, like, in the grand scheme of things, what's actually happening here. In the grand scheme of things, could this actually be a part of something that is a divine plan? Like, in the grand scheme of things, will this little detail, is it, I don't know, going to stop the overall experience that I'm trying to have in my life, or that the people in my world are trying to have? And so we have a tendency to, like, have different levels of anxiety depending on how close we're observing something or how far away we're observing something, and the timeline that we give it. And if we think that it's very acute and this timeline and it's so close and I have to do this now, and like blah, blah, that thing might not be true. And so this week we are adjusting our relationship with how close we observe something, with solutions that might be a little bit further away from the details. We are adjusting our relationship with like how we actually want to experience each other and ourselves. We're stepping into a level of mastery, of acceptance, of like releasing control. We've been releasing control, like, gradually this for a while now, but now we're coming into kind of a mastery of releasing control on a few items that we really had our fingers deep in. And there will be a change of energy this week as the sun moves into Scorpio. So by the end of the week, we will feel ready to be in relationship with the solutions we come up with. Like, we will have this different perspective that will create mastery around our overall experience, and then we will be able to actually begin taking action and executing. I still don't think it's going to be super, super active, but the knowingness that we're getting, like Sunday, Monday, this knowingness, it's like it's going to sink in to where we're like, oh wow, I actually do know this. Like, I actually can be present with my life knowing that it's going to be okay, or that it's all divine. And then when we have that knowing, we'll be able to actually step into those solutions with the knowingness, not from an anxious place, but from a like, I'm not trying to fix these details because I'm anxious. I'm actually able to apply the solutions because I'm in acceptance that this is all part of everything. So that's what it's a very, like, everything of course keeps building on itself, right? Like, this is not something that's going to be totally complete. We just have another week of, like, becoming more masterful in how we want to experience our life and how we want to be in relationship with others from that place. And so, and then we'll have another week of like, it's going to be a Scorpio week. So, everything's always changing, and just learning how to somatically be present with those changes is what we're becoming masterful at. So I think this is, do you have something you'd like to say about it?
I just wanted to say that I think one of the things that most profoundly hit me in all of this is that we think we have to freak out sometimes when, based on all of our past knowing, our past experiences, and so we go into that panic mode of what do I do, and you really, they just so beautifully explained all that in that way, to really kind of sit back and say, okay, let's just take it in, so just that's that piece of, I think, because a lot of people really definitely feel that way right now, particularly, just there's a panic sometimes, and taking that perspective is so helpful.
Good. I'm so glad. Thank you. Like, I didn't know who I would be speaking to today. And the fact that your message came in and I was like, I'm ready to do it. Let's do it. like everything's being so, like, divinely guided through all of this. So thank you so much, Enid, for showing up in my world today. And I hope this message was also valuable for the people, whoever is listening to this.
I'm beyond grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.